If you want a happier family, create, refine, and retell the story of your family's positive moments and your ability to bounce back from the difficult ones. That act alone may increase the odds that your family will thrive for many generations to come. Bruce Feiler, The Family Stories That Bind Us.
As a little girl, my mother always told stories to us about our ancestors. She made us feel proud of our ancestors, and she made us love the history, the stories, and the sacrifice that they went through to get us where we are in our lives. So I love to tell the stories to my grandchildren so that they will know and feel the sacrifice and the love of helping each other through the things that they are going through in life.
Because of Grandma Jan, my children and I have benefited so much from an intergenerational narrative. She keeps the stories alive. She's a living library, and she has just created this sanctuary of stories. She loves us. You walk into her home and you are inside of her arms. And she lifts and blesses constantly with these stories and brings meaning into the experiences we have by connecting them to all of the experiences of the past.
I absolutely loved growing up hearing Grandma Jan's stories. They're so entertaining, so much fun, and honestly it seems like every other sentence is about somebody and where they were born and who they're related to. It's so obvious how important family is to her, and that's really inspired me over the years.
When I became a mother, I related to one of those stories in particular. She became a new mom in the 50s. They lived in military subsidized housing, and the only bed that they had for their newborn son was a drawer in their dresser. And I related to that because I also can be a good mom by making sure that I'm simply just doing the best that I can with what I have. And because of Grandma Jan, I feel like my family is blessed to have more than she ever did.
One of the things I love about my Grandma Jan is her positivity. So she has struggled with diabetes and with neuropathy her whole life, and that's been something that's really hard. And she's had to have a couple toes removed. Incidentally, I have another grandpa, a different grandpa, Grandpa Wendell, who has also lost a couple of toes. And when Grandma found out about this, all she had to say about it was, "I outdone Wendell in the toe contest." And she continues to serve people even in her old age and with everything she's gone through.
My favorite story of Grandma Jan was when she stole her family's car, took her friends from school, and went joyriding around town. Her neighbor came out and said, "Jan, you put that car back right now." Didn't you also run it into a ravine?
Into a ditch.
Into a ditch.
So I backed back up to put the car back and went across the street and hit the peddler, and they hooked the fenders together, the bumpers together. And the peddler got out and unhooked it, and I drove it back and parked it. All the kids, but the kids were hanging out of the windows, they were hanging out of the trunk, they were hanging everywhere.
How old were you when all this happened?
12.
And I think it's just so funny.
Sharing a common bond of the things that I did when I was young helped the children to know that we are all human.
One of those stories that is really fun for me is about your brother, Stan, right? You were jumping out of the hayloft into a big pile of hay, and one day he jumped not knowing there was a pitchfork in the pile of hay, straight through his shoe, straight through his foot, right? Right up the top. It shows like how crazy they were and the fun they had, but I think the most important part of that story is how it felt hearing her talk about it. Her concern for her brother and how much she loved her family and how important those people are to her. really inspired me and set a model for me of how I should treat those in my life and how to really take care of somebody and love somebody. So thank you for that. Thanks for inspiring us all. And maybe not that story quite yet because my kids are pretty little, but I do share a lot of Grandma Jan's stories and pass on that legacy, which is really fun.
I like to go to Grandma Jan's on the schoolhouse to hear stories.
Family stories have made an incredible impact on my life and the lives of my children.
So something that has really blessed our life is a present from Grandma Jan. Every year she would write up a story and then the grandkids would illustrate it. And it has been so fun reading to our children, and these are the stories that have really stuck with our kids and have been such a blessing in our lives that help them in their day-to-day.
It's fun for me to connect those stories with my children because they receive strength and power from hearing those examples and how they faced adversity. And there's so much adversity in the world today that gaining strength from our ancestors and our ancestors' stories is more important than ever.
Hearing my grandma's stories makes me know her better. My ancestors' stories makes me know them better. And it's so critical to know that we belong to each other, that God placed us in this family. And it's so wonderful to hear these stories, to know each other better, and gives us a sense of belonging.
I married into this family, and I am so lucky and feel so blessed to have this rich history that I can draw on and pass down to my posterity. Hearing her stories of her powerful women that she has in her life and now in my son's life and lineage is so inspiring to me. She has a grandmother who was an OB and kept this detailed list of every child she delivered that I've seen, so amazing. She has a mother who was a supervisor over tons of teachers and had this amazing career, and she herself raised 6 children while going back to school. She graduated from high school when she had 5 kids in the house. And I just love that not only do I have these examples of strong women and strong mothers in my life, but now my son has these strong role models who were passionate about education and passionate about their family and about making the world a better place that we can look to and gain strength from.
So she and my grandpa got married right before the Korean War. They were shipped to Dugway, and in this area, they were in a small trailer. They had no shower, so my grandpa installed one over the toilet where they'd have to have 1 foot on either side of the toilet and be standing over it while they were showering. And I think that story shows to me how much they're willing to sacrifice for family.
Grandma Jan was married for almost 70 years, and she told us plenty about the challenges and the good times that she had. She said marriage is like a roller coaster with highs and plenty of lows, but what she said inspired us and made us excited for our marriage.
We actually just got married this last year, and because of everything that we've heard, we've become so hopeful and really excited for the rest of our future, and we hope to carry our grandparents' legacy with us.
When I was about 12 years old, someone showed up at Grandma's house and she called him Grandpa Max, and he started coming to our activities. Grandma helped us do plays on the front porch and he would come watch them. And I found out later that he was her dad, and she hadn't known him all the time growing up. He left their family when she was just a baby and her mom was pregnant with her younger brother. So she had a hard time growing up without a dad, and then she had a stepdad that was a hard situation in many ways also. But when her dad returned to her life at the end of his and asked for forgiveness, she gave it to him wholeheartedly, and he became a part of our lives. He was our Grandpa Max, even though he had divorced my great-grandma and left for years and years and decades and not been a part of her life. She is such a great example to me of forgiveness and welcoming people. Everyone is welcome in her home.
When I walk into my grandparents' home, their love for their family is evident. As you can see, there's family history all around these walls. And all of us know that we are her favorite. In the hall, there's a wedding wall of all her married posterity. It shows the importance of family to her.
Everyone in the ward calls her Grandma Jan. It doesn't matter if she's related actually or not. She's everyone's grandma. But knowing that story about Grandpa Max and how much she suffered and then had to forgive has helped me so much to realize the importance of forgiveness and loving everyone and welcoming them into our home no matter what their story is. I love Grandma Jan so much. She's one of my very best friends.
One of my favorites is about my great-grandpa Rule's mom, May Catherine. She was getting ready for an activity one night and she bought this brand new blouse for it. She was walking up the stairs when she saw her little sister Clara wearing her new blouse. She wanted to react in anger, but then she remembered that people are more important than things. So she said, "You look beautiful in it, Clara," and she let Clara wear it to the activity. Not much time later, Clara got sick and ended up passing away. Whenever a family member takes something of mine without permission, I think of May Catherine and her story of Clara and her new blouse. And that makes me think that people are more important than things.
That has come up so many times, that kind of love. That was teaching the kids the importance of loving each other.
It has blessed our children immensely to be able to go and visit my family, to visit Spencer's family, and to hear the stories of our ancestors and to have the children remember them in times of doubt or times where they don't want to share or times where they are just needing that extra assistance. They remember these stories that they have heard, and it has blessed them with greater self-esteem and family connection and a desire to live that legacy of faith.
You know, and my kids know, if they come here, they are going to get hugged, they're going to get fed, they are going to be listened to. She's going to take the time to look in their eyes and process what they're going through and then connect it with years, centuries of experiences that bring meaning and purpose to what they're going through and help them to process it and figure out what to do, what their next step is, because of all the steps that have been taken in the past that she keeps alive. This living library, this sanctuary of story, this beautiful place, this incredible woman has kept all of this alive for us. And she loves us, literally wraps us in a sacred shroud of stories. Another one that I just love is how you kept us close to Brigham Reese. He crossed the plains at 17 years old, a little backpack on his back, and came over just with his sister and worked in the mines for 4 years.
And every time he got enough money, he sent for another one of his siblings.
And he brought all 10 of his family, paid for all of them to get here. And that 17-year-old boy crossing the plains, his story is in every one of my kids' minds when they've had to do hard things, when they've had to strap on that backpack and march somewhere and work hard. And our family has had experiences because my husband has MS, and those kids have had to put on a backpack too and do some tough things, but Brigham Reese has walked with them and taught them how, because you gave us that story and helped us with his strength and power and with that example. I don't know how to thank you for the legacy. I don't know how to thank you for the stories that you have poured all over my kids by telling us constantly the love we've been marinated in your love and in the legacy and heritage that you have wrapped us. Our lives are woven with the tapestry of this family strength and family stories, and you love us so much. That's how you sew it in. You sew the stories in with love, and I just don't know how to thank you for the legacy of that. It's so precious.
These beautiful family stories that have been generations coming to us, and as we pass them on, bind us to people that we will know and be with forever. And their influence can help them now as well as then.
Yes, amen.
And that's our great desire, is to have the eternal bond be strengthening them now and forever.
Connecting with our ancestors can change our lives in surprising ways. From their trials and accomplishments, we gain faith and strength. From their love and sacrifices, we learn to forgive and move forward. Our children become resilient. We gain protection and power. Ties with ancestors increase family closeness, gratitude, miracles. Such ties can bring help from the other side of the veil. Garrett W. Gong. We each have a story.